Hi everyone, it's Natalie and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing Never Look Back by Lilliam Rivera as part of the book tour hosted by Colored Pages. So I would like to thank Colored Pages for providing me with a copy of this book. I also forgot to mention this earlier, but down below in the description you will find links to where the schedule is posted so you can see the other posts people are making as part of this book tour. And I will also have linked down there the social media of Colored Pages and of this author, so check that out if you're interested. So now I'm going to read the summary of this book for y'all because once again I have become illiterate and I apparently have no skills at summarizing books. So let me just read what is in the back of the cover to tell you what this book is about. Eury comes to the Bronx as a girl haunted by losing everything in Hurricane Maria and by an evil spirit. She fully expects the tragedy that befell her and her family in Puerto Rico to catch up to her in New York. Yet for a time she can almost set this fear aside because there's this boy. Feuz is a golden-voiced bachata singing charmer, ready to spend the summer on the beach with his friends, serenading his on-again, off-again flame. That changes when he meets Eury. All he wants is to put a smile on her face and fight off her demons. But some dangers are too powerful for even the strongest love. As the world threatens to tear them apart, Eury and Feuz must fight for each other and their lives. I rated this book 4.5 stars. I loved it so much. Like I don't know how I'm gonna be literate for this video because I just loved this book so much and it's so hard to put into words why I loved it so much. So I'll try my best. I think for sure one of my favorite things about this book was the main characters. Eury and Feuz were just beautiful, amazing, stunning, incredible. We loved them. They were just amazing, and honestly one of the things that really worked was that they had very distinct voices. There's not a lot of books that I read that are written in first person that have dual perspective and do it well, but I found that this author did that really well. You could always tell if you were in Eury's mind or in Feuz's mind, and it's because they viewed the world so differently. The things they noticed were different, the things they cared about were different, so it was impossible basically to get confused while you were in the perspective of one or the other. So I thought that was brilliant because genuinely not many authors can pull this off, and I'm so impressed that this author was able to do that. Perfection, amazing, we love to see it. There are no words. But when it comes to the particulars of the characters, I have to say that Feuz was one of my favorites. He was just, I loved him. He was like the playboy, but he had like this soft side, and he was like so invested in helping Eury, and it was just like, I'm just gonna be like, it's just like because I am illiterate, I don't have words. He was just precious. I loved him and I want to protect him. Okay? Eury was more of a challenge. I've struggled to get into her character at first, mostly because she was very into, if people didn't help her the way she wanted to be helped, then she was like, screw you, I don't want you, I don't trust you, and whatnot. And I was like, ma'am, can we calm down? Can we calm down? But eventually I did really end up liking her. I really enjoyed following her journey to basically learning how to self-advocate for herself, how to face her demons and be like, I can't avoid this, but I'm also not going to be so terrified that I don't do anything. So yeah, a large part of this story is about Eury learning to take charge of her life and not be afraid of putting the effort that it takes to be in full control of your life. Something else that I thought was done super well in this novel was the representation of an abusive and toxic relationship. Eury has this spirit, Ato, who has followed her since she was a child. And Ato is basically textbook abuser. Like, you look at the characteristics of someone who abuses someone and you will find everything there. Like, he checks off all the boxes. But I thought the way the author presented it was really well done. It didn't feel like she was trying too hard to make me believe that Ato was an abusive character. Like, it was just his behavior. Eury did have moments where she would like flat out say it, or that she would think things like, he just wants to possess me and stuff like that, but it never really felt like she was trying to hit me really over the head saying that Ato is abusive. Like, you could see it for yourself. Like, you would just observe his behavior and you were like, yeah, this dude is not worth shit. He's not worth shit. So yeah, I just liked the execution of that, and I liked how there was this intersection between Eury's anxiety and Ato's abuse. Like, the two of those were woven together really well, and they fed off of each other, and so it led to Eury being pretty messed up. So I just thought it was brilliant. Honestly, I don't even know how to put this to words. I just thought it was really well done. Another big element of the story, since Eury has this spirit, Ato, connected to her basically, is El Inframundo. And honestly, the scenes we got in El Inframundo were the best scenes in this whole book. They were haunting, they were chilling, they were full of atmosphere and this creeping sense of horror and dread. Like, how else am I supposed to put this into words? It was just so well done. It was so well crafted. Those scenes really felt like the author put all her love and attention to them, because they really took the stakes really high up, and they delivered time and time again in just like in plot and atmosphere and character development. Yeah, I don't know how else to put it. It was just brilliant. It was just brilliant. That's like my key word for this book and for this review. It was brilliant, and I don't have more words for it. But the main reason I rated this 4.5 stars instead of 5 stars was because of the romance between Eury and Feuz. I felt like we had some pretty good build-up. Like, when we started the novel and they started to get to know each other, it was going well. I was like, I like this. They're taking their time. It's going well. I like it. But then the getting together part was unsatisfactory. At least to me, it felt too sudden, and suddenly they were like, I love you so much, you're everything to me. And I'm like, what is happening here? Why are y'all acting like this? So it was that bizarre thing where the relationship, especially that getting together part, that middle part, was rocky for me. I was like, I'm not super into that. But I do have to say that by the end of the novel, I was invested in their relationship. I was interested in them being together, and I did think they were really cute together. So as a whole, I enjoyed their relationship. It just could have been tweaked a little bit more so that the progression of it felt more steady or followed a more natural course. Regardless, again, I was still into them. I still shipped them. I still think they were cute as hell, so what does it matter? Now, as a Puerto Rican reviewer who has a lot of commonalities with Eury, I also left Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria. I felt very seen by Eury's character. She didn't have the same experiences as me. I was as horrifically displaced from Puerto Rico as she was, and my reactions to it weren't quite the same, but I still felt like what she felt on the inside because of that event very much connected to my own experiences. And I could understand her longing to return to Puerto Rico, because I have the similar experience where I left Puerto Rico and I've been in Chicago almost 3 years now, and it's just starting to feel like my home. Like, I still don't entirely feel like this is my new home, even though I've been here for 3 years. Puerto Rico still feels largely like my home. So it's this thing where I could really relate to how she was feeling about that, how she was feeling like she was in the space, but it was not hers. Her space is back in the island. So I don't know, I thought it was just really well done, and it really resonated with me. I could definitely feel how this was written by a Puerto Rican author. I know that this author did not move to the United States because of Hurricane Maria, but still I could feel the care that she took into creating Eury's character and her relationship to the island and the hurricane and all of that stuff. So yeah, it was very meaningful to me. And another thing that was really meaningful to me in this weirdest way possible, let me see if I can find the quote again. So yeah, Lilliam Rivera uses Spanish throughout this book, and she does it brilliantly. Like, I forgot to mention that before, but her use of Spanish is incredible. It's so well done, so well incorporated into the story. It's seamless. It's literally seamless. I could not find a flaw in it. Great, we love it here. But what the quote I wanted to point out, which was strange to me, but at the same time it was the thing that reached my heart the most in the Spanish use, was that Feuz asks, "Chacho, tú no paras?" And that just felt so Caribbean, so representative of what I would hear my friends saying, what I would hear other people in the island saying, that it was just so, it reached right into my heart, even though it was just such a short thing. It was just like that chacho. I was like, oh my God. Because I really hadn't seen other books written in English use that dialect like that. And it was, see, I'm speechless. I can't even speak about it because it was just so impactful for me. It was like the author saw me in such a simple statement. And yeah, I don't have words for it. I'm gonna stop because I already feel too emotional, and I'm like, I haven't cried once in this channel, and I'm not planning on starting now. So let's end that there. Let's stop. So yeah, that's basically all my thoughts on this book. Well, the most coherent ones I could put together for this video. Definitely, I recommend you pick up this book. I definitely think it's worth reading. I'm personally so excited to hit the backlist of this author because I know she has a few novels that she released before this one. So I'm like, I'm ready. I'm ready to become a Lilliam Rivera stan. I'm ready. Anyway, so that's it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you would like to follow me on any of my social media, I will leave the links to that down below in the description. But for now, see you next time.